connecting your internal state to your external results. If, as the science suggests, your nervous system becomes biologically blind to opportunity because of chronic stress, what strategic business opportunities might you have completely missed just this week? Welcome to The Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and give you the essential blueprint for what matters right now. So if you're trying to scale your business, you're probably laser-focused on metrics that live outside your body. Things like conversion floors, maybe your return on ad spend, ROAS. The stuff we're all taught determines success. But what if we told you that all those spreadsheets are, well, effectively meaningless if you haven't mastered the one dashboard that truly determines your financial capacity?
That's really the paradigm shift we explored in the source material for this deep dive. We're moving the conversation away from, the exhaustion of sheer effort, what the sources call hustle-based analytics. And we're moving into a framework known as quantum scaling.
Quantum scaling.
Yeah. And the core premise is that your internal physiological state, specifically how regulated your nervous system is, acts as an absolute non-negotiable ceiling on your financial results.
So it's not just about finding the right marketing strategy. It's about aligning your biology first. Our mission today is to guide you through this kind of radical reframe. We're essentially treating the nervous system as the ultimate, most accurate business metric. We want to show you how to see when you're stuck in what they call management mode, which is just survival, stress, contraction, and how to intentionally shift into millionaire alignment, which is a state of expansion and safety.
And that shift, according to this framework, is the shortcut.
Okay, let's unpack this for the listener who I think really knows this feeling we're talking about. You've checked all the external boxes, you've optimized the funnel, you're hitting benchmarks, but you still feel this thick, frustrating plateau.
You feel blocked.
Yeah, unable to break through to that next financial level. So why are the traditional analytics failing you?
Because the problem isn't external. I mean, that's the whole point. It's an internal signal that traditional metrics, which only measure past performance, they just completely miss it. The research we looked at points to these really specific physical signals.
Like what?
Well, think about that sudden cold tightness in your chest or your throat the moment you open your bank account.
I think we've all felt that.
Or that low-grade itch that makes you check your email at 11 p.m. because you feel like you have to overwork even when things are going fine.
Right, and we just dismiss that as anxiety or stress. But the framework argues this is where it gets really interesting. If you feel that tightness, you aren't suffering from a bad business plan. You're experiencing misalignment at a cellular level.
Misalignment at a cellular level. Your physiology is screaming threat.
So what's the typical response?
The typical response fails. You try to fix a nervous system problem with a new marketing strategy.
Or hire another coach.
Exactly. You optimize another ad campaign, but you're using the wrong tool for the job.
So instead of traditional analytics, we shift to what the sources are calling bioanalytics. And this idea of quantum regulation, what does that mean practically?
It means we have to accept that your nervous system is the most accurate and, I think critically, the most predictive dashboard you have. If your internal state is signaling threat or chaos, if you are physically contracting around the idea of holding, say, $100,000, you will unconsciously, biologically, hit a financial ceiling. Your body literally doesn't feel safe holding that.
It's a safety issue.
It's all a safety issue, and that internal regulation is what unlocks what they call the millionaire identity, which then makes the external actions actually work.
So if that's the ceiling, how do we start laying the scientific foundation for scaling? This shift from surviving to thriving. It has to be backed by something real.
Absolutely. And it is. The foundational scientific theory they reference is the broaden and build theory from Dr. Barbara Fredrickson. Her research shows that when the brain perceives itself to be in a state of sustained safety, when your nervous system is regulated, your cognitive flexibility it increases dramatically.
And I find the physical aspect of this just incredible. The claim is that in that state of safety, your peripheral vision literally widens.
It does. And that's not just a cute fact. It's a huge competitive advantage for a business owner.
How so?
Well, when you're stressed in that fight or flight mode, your vision narrows, literally and figuratively. You can only focus on the immediate threat. But when you feel safe, your vision expands. And the framework argues this allows you to spot opportunities, partnerships, strategic pivots that a stressed brain is physically blind to.
So you can't see the next big move if your biology thinks there's a saber-toothed tiger around the corner.
You just can't. And on the flip side, Survival mode directly tanks our intelligence. The sources say that when we go into that full sympathetic activation, the most crucial part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, basically shuts
The
down.
CEO brain.
The CEO brain, yeah.
Yeah.
And losing that is the ultimate cap on growth because the prefrontal cortex is where you do all your high-level executive function. Long-term planning, sophisticated decisions, emotional regulation.
So when a threat is detected, all the resources get funneled away from that part of the brain.
Down to the reactive limbic system. You literally can't make aligned visionary plans when your decision-making center is offline. The material is so specific here, you cannot manifest from a place of biological threat.
And this connects to the energetic side of wealth, too, right? There's a lot of reference to Dr. Joe Dispenza's work on brain and heart coherence.
Correct. The idea is that true wealth creation requires an internal state of, well, order. Your heart and brain have to be in sync. If your internal dashboard is flashing red with chaos and dysregulation, your external business results will always hit that ceiling. Coherence is the non-negotiable first step.
Okay, so if the problem isn't our external strategy, but our internal state of being, the core question changes entirely. It moves from what do I do to who do I need to become?
This is the big aha moment for so many high achievers. They're trying to solve a 3D problem with 3D tools, just hustling their way into an identity they haven't actually adopted yet.
So it's not about willpower.
No, you can't force it. The necessary change is a fundamental identity shift. And that has to be cultivated through internal means, like meditation, leading to this clarity about the beingness of the self you want to become.
The sources have this really specific and I think memorable anecdote about how the creator of this framework actually did this. It's so modern.
It really is. Once they got that internal clarity on the emotional state of their millionaire version, they took a very active step. They created an audio asset titled Becoming a Millionaire.
But they didn't just record it themselves.
No, and this is the crucial part. They used an advanced AI voiceover service, specifically 11 Labs, to bring this vision to life. And then they posted it publicly on YouTube.
Why the AI? I mean, that seems counterintuitive if the regulation is supposed to be internal.
The insight is brilliant. The AI voice was chosen because it had this stable, neutral, authoritative frequency. It didn't have the emotional history and trauma of the creator's own voice.
I see, so it's a clean slate.
A clean slate. And putting it on YouTube made it concrete. This asset wasn't just information, it was a frequency anchor. A tool to regulate the system by repeatedly exposing the nervous system to the feeling of that desired identity.
So the body starts to recognize that regulated feeling as the new normal.
Exactly. Your body begins to map that sense of spaciousness and safety onto big financial results. And what they found was that once the internal system was aligned, the external actions, the sales calls, the launches, all the doing became effortless and way more effective.
The identity shift didn't just precede the action, it dictated the ease of the action.
Perfectly put. So once you accept that your nervous system is the dashboard, the key skill is knowing how to read it. The framework gives 3 specific signals to monitor.
Okay, let's start with the first one, the contraction check, because this feels very, very tangible.
It's where the money literally meets the body. The contraction check asks you to hold a big financial goal in your mind, a 6-figure invoice, a 7-figure launch.
Yeah.
Then you scan your body. Does your throat tighten up? Do you feel a knot in your solar plexus?
That physical tightness is the signal.
That's the signal. It's your biology saying lack of safety. I do not feel safe holding this. A truly regulated millionaire identity feels spacious and open around those numbers. That spaciousness is the data point you're looking for, not the bank balance.
And the second signal deals with that classic entrepreneurial struggle we mentioned, the hustle itch. This feels like it's just part of the deal, but it's reframed here as dysregulation.
That itch is a direct manifestation of a nervous system stuck in high beta brainwaves. Physiologically, high beta is for alertness, tension, external focus.
Which you need sometimes.
Sometimes. But when it's chronic, it manifests psychologically as the feeling that you must do more to be worthy of more. Your worthiness is tied to compulsive activity, not your identity.
Right. Inspired action versus driven compulsion.
Big difference. Inspired action flows from a regulated state. Compulsion flows from high beta anxiety.
Okay. And the third one, what happens when you ask those deep questions and the dashboard is just static, confusing signals?
Yeah, this is where external tools can be used to get what they call higher wisdom or an objective perspective. The example they give is so powerful. The creator was asking about a specific limiting financial belief, and the answer just wasn't coming through clearly.
So what did they do?
They used a non-traditional tool. They drew a tarot card, and it was the Lovers.
Okay, interesting.
But the interpretation wasn't romantic, it was financial. It signaled the need to harmonize two competing forces, their big financial goals and their deep core values.
So the card wasn't magic. It was just a mechanism to externalize the internal confusion and force a new perspective.
Precisely. It bypassed the circular thinking of the stressed mind and gave them the exact data point they needed. They had to get into alignment and define what success feels like when it's authentic.
And that leads us right into the final, most actionable part, moving from constantly healing old wounds to proactive identity building, the daily practice.
This is the daily calibration. It's called the neurosomatic scan, a 3-step routine for rapid regulation. Step 1 is simple. Close your eyes, scan your body. You're just looking for the static, that tightness, that low-level hum of anxiety. Find where it is, throat, chest, gut.
And step 2 isn't about ignoring it, it's about engaging with it.
Correct. You breathe deeply, intentionally directing your breath and attention into that space until you feel it soften. That is neurosomatic regulation in action. You're actively signaling safety to that contracted part of your body.
And the final step links that regulated state directly back to your business.
This is the most crucial part. From that soft, regulated, neutral space, you ask the ultimate question. How would my millionaire self respond to this email, this launch, this problem right now?
So every decision you make all day is rooted in your desired identity, not your survival trauma.
Not in the trauma or the hustle itch.
So what does this all mean for the person who is still just relying on spreadsheets and those traditional metrics?
It means they're measuring the past. Traditional analytics tell you what happened last quarter, but the nervous system, as outlined here, predicts the future. Your internal state is the bridge. It's the energetic and biological mechanism between the quantum field of potential and your physical bank account. If you want to scale to a quantum level, you have to align the bridge first. Regulation isn't a luxury, it's the infrastructure for expansion.
So our deep dive today really boils down to one powerful, actionable idea. You have to stop trying to out-hustle your biology. The regulation of your nervous system isn't self-care or a nice-to-have. It is the foundational business metric that determines your capacity to attract and securely hold more financial abundance.
That external ceiling you keep hitting, it's just a reflection of an internal biological floor set by your nervous system. When you create physiological safety, you create unlimited capacity for expansion.
And as we close out, we want to leave you with one final thought to mull over this week, connecting your internal state to your external results. If, as the science suggests, your nervous system becomes biologically blind to opportunity because of chronic stress, what strategic business opportunities might you have completely missed just this week because you were operating entirely from the narrow reactive focus of survival mode? It's time to recalibrate that internal dashboard.
So when Gina offered me the opportunity to do this, I jumped for it because I think anything that you can do that is going to chip away at these limiting the beliefs of things that hold you back is really, really worth doing. So it's been a really lovely experience, and if anybody's a bit worried about it, just do it, because the opportunity to connect through havening is really, really powerful. It's really, really powerful.
But really helpful, I think, in terms of having that kind of guided process just to kind of let the ideas and the feelings and the images flow, and then try and work out what it actually means afterwards, and to come up with, and it made intuitive sense. It's really, really helpful to then kind of have that debrief of, okay, what can we actually do with this stuff? Because that's where we tend to get stuck, is kind of like coming out of it going, oh, this is all some really interesting ideas and thoughts and feelings and images. But yeah, then, how can we actually harness them to do something different? And I think that's been really, really helpful in terms of clarifying really what I need to prioritize to go forward in a way that will deal with some of that stuff that came up.
I would like to point out that I'm actually a therapist myself, and sometimes therapists also need a therapist. So I was really stuck, and then one day a friend posted a link for Gina's wealth and money attracting short course, and I went, this sounds great, I'm just gonna book it. And I love this so much I really had an epiphany on that course. And it was only meant to be a demonstration, and yet it was really, it just opened up possibilities that I was stuck before, and now like, ooh, I can use this to unstuck myself. I'm a great believer that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And you appeared at the right time. That's all there is to it. So, if anybody's watching this video, it means Gina has appeared in your life. So please give it a try.
She walks where the sky